Could you teach us tips on how to make good glitchy vocal cut things, like the ones in the Scary Monsters drop? One cool thing I found out is that the Scary Monsters glitches are all reversed as well as cut up, and those reverses make it even cooler in my opinion. Apart from that, try cutting up the vocals, put them together on a patch to play with on your MIDI keyboard, and then come up with something rather than trying to figure it out straight from the sample. That could come up with some more creative and interesting results. If you could work with any musical artist, alive or dead, who would it be and why? There's far too many. The inner angsty teenager in me would love to work with Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. Do you think just colouring some of your hair is cool? No, I think it's frickin' sweet! What shampoo do you use? What kind of conditioner do you use? 2 questions here. What got you interested in making dubstep tracks? Which artists would you say are your biggest dubstep influences? I've got one answer for both of them. Started out with Rusko, being my first dubstep producer I really got into, then Liquid Stranger, then Excision, then Skrillex, and then loads of you guys, both for loving it and making it. Could you do a video on recording and processing guitar tone? Now once I did do a guitar recording and processing 7-day series, but it was genuinely terrible. I'm not yet confident enough with my guitar tone making abilities to put together a video I'd be happy with. Maybe one day. Are you planning to do more hip-hoppy stuff? I have got some hip-hoppy projects in the works for next year, so yep. Are you awesome? I just went to amiawesome.com. Can't argue with that. How do you stay so fresh? I mean, you always come up with those awesome ideas and all. I get ideas constantly while I'm living my everyday life. I've never really struggled with thinking up something different to do. I'm just not afraid to try something unusual, I guess. And that kind of comes across as arrogant, but I was just told I'm very awesome, so it's acceptable. Will you and Hannah collab one day? For those of you guys that don't know, Hannah, with an H at the end, it's palindromic, is my sister, who's a singer and rapper and can speak in fluent Japanese. So let's ask her.
Hi. Yes, we will.
Because
my brother is very benevolent and wise and is considerate enough to let me take part in one of his spectacular videos for his over 29,000 spectacular fans. And I love my brother.
Aww. How do you find time to learn so much in such a short time? I'm struggling for over a year and I still suck. Firstly, I don't think 8 years is a short time. It took me well over a year to get any good. Just take a listen to my first tutorials or Yawa's early music. I still cringe at the production quality of that. None like Joshua asks, ever thought of doing some shows with me if I come to the UK? Only if we do a collaboration with a French producer in the next few months. How do you make pads sound wider and not just in Reason? Try layering it up with multiple synths with various panning parameters and make sure you've got it in stereo when you export it. What's your favourite dubstep artist? Probably Skrillex still. Haters be damned, I think his production is amazing. What's your favourite dance artist? If electro house counts as a subgenre, probably Body Rocks. I freaking love all that sexy electro house stuff. What's your favourite metal artist? Periphery! Love that sh. What's your favourite rock artist? I'm not massively into straight up rock music. So no one. Or AC/DC! Rock and roll! That's a lie. Also this. How many centimetres is your hair? I'm not going to measure each one, but this one is 75 centimetres. Do you have BBM? If yes, can I have your PIN? Nope, I'm an Android guy, as much as I'd love to give my details to a random stranger over the internet via a public video. How can I make the mix more filled out? Put more in it. Try layering synths, and practice your EQing. How do I connect with video producers to get them to use my music? Email them and ask nicely, my home slice usually does the trick. My mom asks, do you want a turkey sandwich? Yep. My mom also asks, how many pieces of bread? 4, please. Station Clean asks, could I meet up with you to have an awesome chat? If I ever need my stations cleaning, I dare say that's possible. If you do offline collaborations, for instance guest vocals, do you charge for it? Have you ever been asked to guest vocal on something? I've only done collaborations for fun and promotion so far. I've got some stuff in the works with other producers that may well involve guest vocaling. And I guess I'd only charge if the person asking didn't have a reasonable following. I'd be up for trying it though. Dave bro, what did you find was the best way of getting exposure? Exposure for me came from initially making over 200 tutorials and then working bloody hard making music and videos, along with entering competitions with You and What Army, and winning with the help of a bunch of you guys, which got us on a major UK tour with Kids in Glass Houses, and playing loads of festivals. And when will one be doing the studio videos? As I said, they've all been recorded, but there were some problems with the edit. Adam will be sorting these out as soon as he gets back, or I'll show that picture of him as a pimp to the internet again, and we'll release them in January. What is your favourite shade of orange? Tough one. I'd have to say pimp orange. How do you go about finding a label that suits you? Unfortunately, I've not had much experience with good labels, so I can't really help you there. But I do think independent is the way to go these days. How did you develop that unhealthy obsession with hamsters? I don't think bricking a few hamsters counts as an obsession. What did you take in college? Or for my A-levels, I took physics, maths, computing, and a BTEC in music technology. Do you think taking independent education holds as much esteem in the professional industry? From what I've seen, education pales in comparison to the need for a good portfolio. Just get yourself some really well-produced tracks to show off. And if you've got a decent amount of self-motivation, save the money and teach yourself on the internet. Can I have one of your mixers or Korg thingies? No, how do they get the stripes in toothpaste so neat without mixing together? The coloured stripe in the toothpaste sits at the top part here, and the white part is right at the bottom. And there's a tube that sits from here about the white part to the front, with a little gap in it, so that the coloured part can mix with it as it goes through. And the two different parts are viscous enough that they don't mix together. Well, let's take some questions from Twitter. Hey David, mind sharing what jobs you had in the past? Paper round, McDonald's, till guy, waiter, and data entry guy. Do you have any tips for producing trip hop and ambient music? Time stretch random stuff, get yourself a copy of Melodyne, then use its polyphonic tuner to tune it all to the same key. Apply reverb and enjoy. Do you know anywhere online that is a massive random library of sound effects? Try freesound.org. Do you have any music qualifications, or did you just start doing it for the fun? I have a distinction in music tech, but that really means nothing. I am not a fan of conventional education, as you may have noticed. What's the best way to go from FL Studio to Reason? I've never done it, so I don't know, dude, sorry. Can you do some promoting for unknown artists? That's why I do the competitions, man. I'm thinking about making a promo channel in the future though, when I've got enough of a following for it to be successful. How do you do hi-hat rolls in Reason? Check out my Hip Hop 7-Day song, that explains that. Should I use a drum machine or my laptop live? If you want people to know of you as a performer, go for the drum machine, or if you want them to just enjoy the music, go for the laptop. Since you live there, what's the deal with the Dave TV station? It's a frickin' awesome excuse to watch more Stephen Fry. Let's go to Facebook. Any tips for Complextro? Make lots of other genres first, then use all the patches you've made in the same song for a split second each. How do you mix trance and orchestral metal to ensure every instrument is audible? It's bloody hard. High pass all the synths and orchestra wherever possible if you're using the guitars at the same time, above about 200 Hz, so those bass and guitars can sit. Then you've just got to carve out spaces in the mix with the EQ for specific elements. How do you promote your music and start developing a fan base? Smaller YouTube promo channels and collaborations with other artists are great places to start. I know how expensive gear is. What did you used to do for money when you were getting started, and what do you do now? I told you Boy in a Band is my job now, but when I was getting started I worked at McDonald's and as a waiter, and didn't drink or go out much, saving myself a fortune. Also, do you have any endorsements? I get samples from Prime Loops for free, which is frickin' sweet, but no official endorsements yet. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Nah, I ask that of all my prey, I just like the sound of it. And some questions from boyinaband.com. How do you write songs for you and what army? With Yawa, I'll usually come up with an idea for a riff or a beat first. Then I'll usually assemble it into a roughly structured song with drums and sometimes guitar. Then I'll get Kieran and Jamie to fill out their guitar and bass parts, sort the vocals with Kieran, then I'll tighten it all up and do all the stutters and glitches in the mix. How often do you cut your hair? I haven't cut my hair in like 8 or 9 years. So not often. Guys, cheers so much for asking all these questions. It really is awesome that you guys care enough about what I have to say to ask so many questions, and I'm pretty sure you know how much I appreciate it. I've actually got a kind of motivational speaky advice vid to kick off 2012 next week, so that will expand on some of the stuff I've already said and say some new stuff in a more kind of structured way. Cheers for watching and have a nice day.